You wake up. The sun is out. There's nothing wrong, at least not on the surface. You didn't receive bad news, you're not in pain, and no one has hurt you today. And yet you feel nothing. A strange, heavy kind of nothing. You sit in silence, scroll through your phone, drink your coffee, and none of it feels real. It's like you're watching your life through a window you can't break. This isn't laziness, this isn't ingratitude, it's emotional numbness, and it's more common than you think. It happens when your mind, overwhelmed by too much pain or pressure, shuts down your ability to feel, both the bad and the good. You become stuck in a gray zone, not sad, not happy, just existing. Your friends might not notice. You still laugh at the right moments, you still show up, you even smile in pictures, but inside everything feels muted. You're not alive, you're performing life. And the scariest part, you don't even know how long you've felt this way. Emotional numbness is the mind's way of protecting itself from overload. When you face too much stress, too much loss, too much pretending to be okay, your brain goes into survival mode. It says, let's stop feeling for now, because feeling hurts too much. But in doing so, it also blocks the beauty, the joy, the peace. You might not remember the exact moment it started. Maybe it was after a heartbreak. Maybe after years of carrying others' problems while hiding your own. Maybe it was slow, a quiet fading of your joy, your laughter, your connection. And now even the things you once loved feel distant, like memories from another lifetime. You try to explain it to people, but it's hard. How do you tell someone, I feel empty, when nothing on the outside looks broken? They might say, just be grateful, or you have so much going for you. And their words make you feel even more alone. Because gratitude doesn't cure emotional numbness, and success doesn't erase silent suffering. So, you keep it in. You keep pretending. You wake up, go to work, answer messages, do the things you're supposed to do. But inside, you're aching for something, anything, to make you feel again. You long for a moment that breaks the silence in your soul, a moment that reminds you that you're still alive. But that moment doesn't come. Not easily, and you begin to wonder if this is just how you are now, if maybe you've changed too much to go back, if the version of you that felt deeply is gone forever. But that voice, those thoughts, aren't the truth. They're symptoms, and symptoms can be healed. Healing from emotional numbness isn't about snapping out of it. It's about gently reconnecting with yourself, one breath, one feeling, one moment at a time. It starts with recognizing that your numbness is not your fault. You didn't choose to feel this way. You adapted, you survived, and now it's time to recover. Start with something small, a walk without your phone, a song that once meant something, a journal entry where you write how you truly feel without filtering it to sound okay. These aren't magic fixes, but they're signals to your nervous system that it's safe to feel again, safe to return to yourself. Emotional numbness thrives in silence and isolation. That's why it often shows up late at night, when everything is quiet and you're left alone with your thoughts. It creeps in through stillness and grows in disconnection. But you can break that pattern. You can choose to speak even if your voice shakes, to reach out even if it feels awkward, to feel even if it hurts, because even pain is better than nothing. Pain is proof you're alive. It means your heart is still beating under the weight of all that silence. And that matters. You matter. Even if you don't feel it right now. You might fear that if you start feeling again, all the pain you've buried will come rushing out. And yes, some of it might. Tears you never cried, anger you never expressed, grief you never honored. But that release is not weakness, it's freedom. It's your soul unclenching after holding everything in for so long. You don't need to fix everything today. You don't need to feel happy all the time. What you need is permission to feel whatever is there without shame. Whether it's confusion, sorrow, emptiness, or even joy. All of it is valid. All of it belongs. You're allowed to feel without explaining. You're allowed to exist without performing. And healing isn't linear. Some days you might feel light again, almost normal. Then the numbness returns like fog. That doesn't mean you failed. It means you're still healing. The numbness doesn't vanish all at once. It lifts slowly, like dawn after a long night. and every moment of awareness is a step forward. You might not realize it yet, but the fact that you are even listening to this, that you are researching for answers, means something in you still believes in hope, believes in healing, believes that life can be more than just enduring. And that belief is powerful. There is no single path back to feeling. For some, it's therapy. For others, it's art, music, movement, or prayer. For you, it might be something else entirely. But the path always begins with honesty, with sitting in your truth, however uncomfortable it may be, and choosing not to run from it anymore. You're not broken. You're not ungrateful. You're not too far gone. You are a human being whose heart got tired. And when hearts get tired, they protect themselves the only way they know how, by going quiet. That silence isn't failure. It's a pause, a sacred space where something new can begin. So today, ask yourself gently, not with pressure, but with curiosity. What am I avoiding? What am I afraid to feel? And what might happen if I allowed myself to feel just a little bit more? Not everything, just one small truth at a time. You don't need to wait until you have it all together. Healing happens in the mess, in the in-between, in the moments where you choose compassion over judgment, and rest over performance, and softness over shame. That is the work. That is the way back to yourself. Sometimes healing begins not with an answer, but with a question. What made you go numb? What part of you never felt safe enough to feel fully? These are not questions to solve overnight. They are invitations to listen, to be curious, to explore the places inside that you've avoided for years. You might find that your numbness is connected to a time when your emotions weren't accepted. Maybe you were told to be strong when you were breaking. Maybe you learned that your tears made others uncomfortable, so you stopped showing them. You stopped showing you. And little by little, you disappeared into yourself. But disappearing isn't the same as healing, and silence isn't the same as peace. Your quiet suffering deserves more than endurance. It deserves care. You deserve care. And it begins with reclaiming the parts of you that still whisper under the numbness. The child who needed comfort, the dreamer who felt too much, the soul that still longs to be seen. You won't fix it all at once, and you don't have to. Start with presence, with kindness, with reminding yourself that you're worth showing up for, even on the days when you feel nothing. Especially on those days. Let today be one of those days, not a perfect day, but a human one, where you take one step, one moment toward feeling something again. Healing isn't a destination. It's not a place you arrive at and never leave. It's a cycle of remembering and forgetting, of falling apart and putting yourself back together. Gently, patiently. You will have days when the numbness returns, days when joy feels distant again. But now you have tools. Now you have language. Now you know you are not alone. Let yourself be held by the small things, a kind message, a familiar song, the warmth of sunlight through your window. These are not distractions. They are reminders that life is still happening, and you are still part of it. Sometimes healing is simply about giving yourself permission to try again, to trust again, to believe, even a little, that you are worth loving exactly as you are, not only when you're better. Your numbness does not make you less human. It makes you someone who has survived, and now you are learning how to live. This is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of a softer chapter, one where you are no longer defined by what you feel or don't feel, but by how deeply you choose to show up for yourself anyway. So take a breath. Let it fill the spaces that once felt frozen. You are waking up, slowly but surely, and that is more than enough.